For more on this story, we can speak to our international affairs commentator, Douglas Herbert, sort of a code breaker, if you will. Doug, tell us about these ongoing military drills in Belarus.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you have to say the word Belarus. Like, first of all, what are all these troops doing in a sovereign country? This isn't Russia. We've been talking a lot about the 100,000 plus troops arrayed along the Ukrainian border in Russia itself. We're talking about supposedly a sovereign country. Now, look, Alexander Lukashenko, it's no secret that he has been more and more reliant, almost, sort of hardwired to Vladimir Putin. He's Putin's one of his few allies in the world, if you will. And it's really thanks to Putin that Lukashenko, as you know, was able to ride out that mass wave of protests that rocked Belarus after the fraudulent, let's use the word that they were, fraudulent elections in 2020. So you could argue that if Lukashenko remains in power against all odds after 27 years, more in control than ever before, seemingly, it is thanks to his benefactor, Vladimir Putin, which is why Lukashenko is basically paying court to Putin today. He is in Moscow. He is meeting at the Kremlin with Putin, perhaps at that very long table we've seen everyone else meet at. And what are they going to be discussing? Well, they're supposedly, ostensibly going to discuss when these they're called joint exercises between Russian troops and Belarusian troops, which have been ongoing for a couple of weeks now. They're scheduled to end tomorrow. Now, Russia has said that the Russian troops will withdraw back across the Russian border once those exercises end. But we've heard contradictory signals, not just contradictory, completely refuted by Lukashenko, who's hinted that, well, we'll discuss when those troops leave. Maybe the Russian troops will stay. I will note that Lukashenko has been very, very clear. He says, I don't want to go to war with Ukraine, but if I have to, defend the Slavic blood and brotherhood and everything, Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, we're all, kindred nations, so be it. But I do not want war. But what's very clear is he is dependent on Putin here. He is basically under Putin's marching orders, almost literally, with these exercises. And the final decision on whether or not those Russian troops should stay in Belarus or not are going to have a lot more to do with Vladimir Putin than with Alexander Lukashenko.
Yeah, and Doug, this came on Friday when the Kremlin also announced other military exercises were going to begin of its so-called strategic forces. What more do we know about these?
Well, what we know is that normally these are annual exercises. I'm chuckling because, it is outrageous in a way that they are happening right now. Usually these are annual exercises. They happen in the summer. They're technically in the jargon called strategic deterrence force exercises. They test out things like cruise missiles, ballistic missile launchers, and check basically the state of readiness and preparedness of the country's nuclear armament system. Here's the deal. This is not coincidental. Having these exercises, moving them up to this particular moment in time, they happen to be just starting, tomorrow. Putin himself will be overseeing them. They come, obviously, look when they're coming, at the time of perhaps the most heightened tensions between East and West that we've seen in decades. So basically, this is Russia in a not very subtle, a la Putin way of reminding everyone, hey, guess what? Remember, we're a superpower. We're a nuclear superpower. And look what we're testing. We're going to test the preparedness of our nuclear arsenal. Now, officially, Russia's line is, come on, you're all hysterical, even drawing attention to these exercises. They were planned in advance. This has nothing to do with the standoff between Russia and the Ukraine and Europe in general. Nothing at all. These are absolutely transparent exercises that were well flagged up weeks before. That's the official line out of the Kremlin. But look, we've been talking all week, Will, about Putin being a master of hybrid warfare, information warfare, the word in Russian being maskirovka. This is a prime example of it. He keeps us guessing, he keeps us worried, and he has me here on the set talking to you about it right now.
All right. Thank you very much, Douglas Herbert, French 24's international affairs commentator.